My blood brother and my wife. The ultimate betrayal. What's up, True Story? This is Dean writing in from Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been watching your channel for a while, and every time I hear a man's story, I say to myself, damn, I'm not alone. Y'all have no idea how much your content helped me keep my head on straight these last couple of years. I debated for a long time about sending my story in, but I think it's time. Maybe someone out there needs to hear this. Maybe it'll stop another man from ignoring his gut the way I did. So here it goes. My story isn't just about a cheating wife. It's about betrayal on a whole different level. Blood level. How I met Brooke. I met Brooke back in 2017 at a mutual friend's housewarming party. I was 27 at the time, working in IT, and just starting to feel like I had my life together. Brooke had this energy about her, bubbly, always smiling, very attentive. We clicked immediately, spent the whole night talking, and by the next weekend, we were on our first date. We dated for almost 3 years before I proposed. We didn't rush anything. We both agreed we wanted to take our time, really build a solid foundation. Looking back, I think I was the only one who was actually trying to build something real. We got married in early 2020, right before the world shut down. While everyone else was panicking over toilet paper and masks, I was over the moon. I had the woman I loved, a stable job, a decent home, and I was proud. For those 3 years of marriage, I thought we were the perfect couple. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. We had date nights, game nights, lazy Sundays, all of that. She never gave me a reason not to trust her, until she did. My brother moves in. My younger brother Marcus and I were close growing up, only 2 years apart. We were rough as kids, always scrapping, but we had each other's backs. I bailed him out of trouble more times than I can count. He'd always been a little wild, never quite got his life together, but I still looked at him like blood should be looked at. No matter how bad it got, I never turned my back on him. Around the end of 2022, Marcus called me up in a panic. He was getting evicted, said he had nowhere to go. At that point, I had no reason not to help him. He's my brother, and family helps family. So I told him, you can crash in the guest room until you figure it out. Brooke wasn't thrilled about it at first, but she played the role, smiled, said she understood. I thought it was settled. What I didn't realize was I had just opened the door to the devil himself. Something felt off. It started small. You ever get that feeling in your stomach when something just isn't sitting right? That was me. I started noticing how Brooke would laugh a little too hard at his jokes. How Marcus would always find a way to be in the kitchen when she was cooking. One night I walked in and found them sitting on the couch watching a movie under a blanket. I raised an eyebrow and asked, "What's going on here?" They both laughed it off like I was crazy. That was the first time I confronted them. I told them straight up, "Y'all are acting too friendly. This ain't sitting right with me." Brooke got defensive, said I was insecure, said I must be bored or paranoid. Marcus chuckled like I was some joke. "You really think I'd do that to you, bro?" I wish I had trusted my instincts then. I wish I had told him to pack his stuff and get out, but I didn't. I gave them both the benefit of the doubt. That was my mistake. That Wednesday afternoon. It was a regular Wednesday in March. I had called off that day because I just wasn't feeling right. I can't explain it. Something in my gut told me I needed to go home. So around lunchtime, I got in my car and drove back. As I pulled into the driveway, I noticed Marcus's car was still there. Brooke was supposed to be working from home. I didn't think anything of it until I walked inside and didn't hear a damn sound. The house was quiet, too quiet. I crept down the hallway, heart pounding out of my chest, and opened the bedroom door. There they were, my wife and my brother, in our bed. I blacked out. I don't even remember the first punch. All I know is I snapped. We fought right there in the bedroom, knocking over lamps, breaking the dresser, yelling like wild animals. I must have hit him 10 times before the neighbors called the police. When the cops showed up, we were both bleeding. They arrested both of us. Can you imagine that? Getting arrested for fighting the man who was sleeping with your wife? It was like living in a nightmare. After the arrest, I spent the night in holding, didn't say a word to anyone, just sat there staring at the wall. Next morning, guess who shows up to bail me out? Brooke. She had the audacity to act like she was sorry, crying, saying it was a mistake, saying Marcus was the one who initiated everything, said she never meant to hurt me. I just stared at her, didn't say a word until we got outside. Then I told her, "There's no coming back from this. I don't care if you're sorry. I don't care if he manipulated you. You made a choice. You laid down with my own brother. Get away from me." She begged. She followed me to the car. I had to tell her to back off or I'd get a restraining order. A few hours later, I get a call from jail. It was Marcus. He was crying on the phone, talking about how he needed help. Said this was his third strike. Said he was already on probation, and if I didn't bail him out, he might not get out for years. Asked me to please get him a lawyer. Said I was his brother and I couldn't leave him behind. I told him to F off and hung up the phone. Lawyer up. That same day, I called a divorce lawyer, told them I needed to serve my wife papers. I didn't want counseling. I didn't want reconciliation. I wanted out. By the end of the week, Brooke was served. She tried everything after that. Letters, calls, even showed up at my job once, talking about she made the biggest mistake of her life, that we could rebuild, that it only happened once. Lies. I don't even believe it was just once. If I hadn't come home that day, who knows how long it would have gone on. Eventually, she stopped trying. Maybe it finally hit her that I was serious. Maybe Marcus told her I wasn't budging. I don't know. I stopped caring. The divorce and aftermath. The house had to be sold. We split the savings. She moved in with her mom. I got a new apartment across town. I spent the next few months in a fog, not because I missed her. Hell no. But because I was just so angry. Angry at myself for not kicking Marcus out sooner. Angry for letting myself believe that kind of betrayal wasn't possible. You never expect to be hurt by the people you love the most. And here's the kicker. My family turned on me. My mom, my aunt, even a couple cousins. They all said I needed to do the right thing and help my brother. He made a mistake, they said. You know how Marcus is, they said. One cousin had the nerve to tell me that since I make good money, I should at least help him get a good lawyer. I told every single one of them, don't ever ask me to help a man who slept with my wife. I don't care if he dies in there. That's when I started cutting people off. I'll go deeper into that in another email, but yeah, blood don't mean what it used to. I learned the hard way that just because someone's family doesn't mean they're for you. These days, I'm doing better. I've been hitting the gym, working extra hours, and keeping to myself. I don't trust easily anymore, but I also don't walk around bitter. I needed that pain to open my eyes, and I hope my story opens someone else's too. If you've got a gut feeling, don't ignore it. If your woman starts acting too friendly with your brother or best friend, speak up. And if they gaslight you, that's your sign. Leave before it's too late. Anyway, thanks for giving men like me a space to speak our truth. I'll write back soon with the update about my family. That's a whole other can of worms. Stay real. Subject, Part 2. Cutting off my own family after the ultimate betrayal. What's up again? True story? It's Dean from Charlotte, and I'm back with Part 2 like I promised. What really hit me the hardest wasn't just the betrayal by my ex-wife or my brother. It was my own family. See, when something like this happens, you think, naively, that the people who love you are going to rally behind you, that they're going to be disgusted with what happened, that they'll be in your corner no matter what. But that's not what happened for me. In fact, the betrayal continued, just in a different form. But that's your brother. Let me start right after Marcus and I got arrested. Brooke bailed me out, and I told her to leave me alone. The next day, I got that call from jail. Marcus begging me to help him because it was his third strike. I told him to kick rocks. That should have been the end of that chapter. But nah, my mom called me that same night. I should have known what was coming, but a part of me hoped she'd just call to check on me. You know, I was still shaken up, angry, broken, really. But when I answered, she didn't ask how I was doing. She jumped straight into it. Dean, I just got off the phone with Marcus. He told me what happened. He's saying it was Brooke's fault, that she came on to him. I sat there in silence. Then she says, "You know how women are sometimes, baby. She tempted him, but he's still your brother." I almost dropped the phone. This man had sex with my wife, in my house, in my bed, while I was out working to pay the bills and feed both of them. And the first words out of her mouth were about how I should forgive him. I told her, "If you ever bring this up to me again, I'm blocking your number." She got quiet, said something about family sticking together, then hung up. That call broke something in me, because it wasn't just her. The whole family had opinions. Over the next week, word spread through the family like wildfire. I started getting texts and DMs from cousins, aunts, even some of Marcus's old friends. He made a mistake, man. You can't let your wife ruin your relationship with your brother. I heard Brooke seduced him. He probably felt trapped. He's your blood. You're supposed to help him. Let me say something loud and clear. Being related to someone by blood does not give them the right to destroy your life and expect your support afterward. I responded to none of them. I spent a week in silence, just working, eating, sleeping, lifting weights. I felt alone, but not lonely. I started realizing that this family I thought I had, they only cared about keeping up appearances. Not a single person stood up for me. Not one person said, "That's messed up what Marcus did." Even my cousin Tony, who used to call me his big bro, told me I needed to man up and stop being emotional. I blocked him instantly. That's when I made the decision to start cutting people off. No more Mr. Provider. You know what the real problem was? I had always been that guy in my family, the responsible one. The one who had a stable job, a paid-off car, a good credit score. Anytime someone needed to borrow money, they called Dean. If someone needed to crash on a couch for a week, Dean's place. Holiday gifts for the little cousins, Dean got it. I was the reliable one. And that's why everyone felt entitled to my time, money, and forgiveness. Because for years, I made their problems my responsibility. So when I said I'm not helping Marcus, they didn't just see it as a betrayal of blood. They saw it as me stepping out of the role they boxed me into. But the truth is that role was slowly killing me, and it took this betrayal to wake me up. So I started moving differently. I stopped answering family group chats. I muted calls from anyone who hadn't checked on me as a person, and not just as Marcus's older brother or Brooke's ex-husband. I let go of being the family ATM or the fixer. And the silence was beautiful. My dad's perspective. The only family member I kept talking to was my dad. My parents divorced when I was a teenager, and he's always lived kind of low-key down in South Carolina. He's a quiet man, not one for long phone calls, but when I told him what happened, he just said, "Damn, that's cold, but you handled it like a man. Proud of you." That's all he needed to say. He didn't ask me to help Marcus, didn't try to defend Brooke. He just validated what I felt. We talked a few more times after that. Told me to focus on my peace, that if people weren't helping me heal, they were just making me bleed more. He's the one who told me something that stuck with me. Blood don't mean loyalty. People will try to use family as a leash to control you. That hit me hard, because for so long, I thought I owed my family everything. But what had they really done for me besides take? I realized that I had been carrying everyone else's weight for years, and when I fell, they weren't there to lift me up. They were kicking dirt on me, telling me to get over it. So yeah, I cut them off. And guess what? I've never felt lighter. Rebuilding my life. It's been a year and some change since the divorce was finalized. I moved into a new apartment on the other side of town. Small place, but it's quiet, clean, and mine. I painted the walls how I wanted, got rid of all the furniture Brooke picked out, started fresh. I also started therapy. Yeah, real talk. I used to think therapy was for people who couldn't handle life. But after what I went through, I realized I needed help sorting out my anger. I didn't want to become one of those bitter, closed off men walking around like a time bomb. I wanted to heal for real. My therapist, a black man in his 50s, told me something powerful. He said, "You were loyal to people who were never loyal to themselves, let alone you. That's not love, that's dysfunction." We spent weeks unpacking that, and the more I talked, the more I saw the pattern. I had been raised to be the protector, the provider, the one who never said no, even when it was killing me inside. Brooke wasn't the first person to use me. She was just the last one I ever allowed. These days, I don't move the same. I guard my energy. I say no without guilt. I spend my weekends doing what I want, hiking, cooking, going to the gym, sometimes just sitting on the balcony with a cigar and a book. I'm at peace. What happened to Brooke and Marcus? People always ask me if I know what happened to Brooke and Marcus. Truth is, I don't, and I don't care. I blocked them both everywhere. Last I heard, Marcus was still locked up, and Brooke, no clue. Maybe she moved. Maybe she's dating some other fool now. Maybe she regrets everything. Doesn't matter to me. That chapter is closed, sealed, and thrown in the fire. I do sometimes wonder if they stayed in contact after what happened, if they tried to keep whatever twisted thing they had going. But then I remind myself that I don't need to know. I don't want to know. That part of my life is over. The only thing I care about now is protecting my peace and becoming the man I'm meant to be. Lessons for other men. If there's any man reading this who's going through betrayal, family drama, or the pain of a cheating spouse, listen to me. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it is off. You don't need proof to set a boundary. Blood doesn't equal loyalty. Just because someone shares your last name or DNA doesn't mean they respect you. Don't play the provider role for people who wouldn't lift a finger for you. You're not a walking bank account or a crash pad. Therapy is not weakness. It's strength. It takes courage to face your pain and choose healing over hate. Start over if you have to. I sold my house, lost my marriage, cut off half my family, and I'm doing better now than I ever was with them in my life. I'm not saying it's easy. I still have nights where the anger creeps in, where I replay that moment of walking into my bedroom and seeing what I saw, but those nights are fewer and further between. And now I have tools to deal with them. I'm not a victim. I'm a survivor, and I'm on the path to something better. Thank you to the True Story channel. Thank you. Y'all don't know how much this space means to men like me. We don't always have people to talk to. We bottle things up. We're told to be strong while we bleed silently. But your channel is like a voice in the storm, a reminder that we're not alone and that healing is possible. I'll probably send another update down the line, maybe when I finally start dating again. Still not ready for that, but maybe someday. For now, I'm just living slow, living free, and living real. To any man reading this, don't let betrayal break you. Let it build you.